All right. Um, Let me set everything up for YouTube really quick. Why isn't there there's not a thumbnail on this? What's going on here? Thumbnail. There we go. Don't know why there wasn't a thumbnail. Didn't pop up. Let's see. Monetization, of course. All right, so uh we're gonna talk about cryptocurrency. We're gonna talk about where the market is. Probably mix some stocks in there as well because we always have a conversation about that, especially seeing how the markets have been kind of working in tandem or moving in tandem. So we want to understand that. We got 12 people that are here on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. However many people on TikTok. We also have one person on Twitch. I appreciate you for watching, and a few people over on X. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch me early this morning. I expect to live stream maybe a little bit more depending on if I get sick or not, or if I feel any type of cold. I expect to live stream. I want to do longer sessions of live streams as well as uploading videos later on. So we'll figure that out. Um, and whatever we're going to look at, any type of news that we see that's out there, any type of coin that we want to look at, review any type of investment as well, and just chat. Uh, Hello, Andy Smith. Thank you for being here. Let's go, Satoshi always. Um, Good morning, Matt. Good morning to you as well, Entrepreneur Life. Hey, Matt, how are you? And what happened to DXRP going live the fourth quarter? Did you see anything? I didn't at the moment. Let me actually check something. So yeah, there's um still in pre-sale and still with price increases at the moment. So um they're not at their final price, which I believe their final price was going to be what, 35 cents. And I think right now the current price is at 33.6 cents. So you definitely want to manage that and view that. But I didn't know the actual timeline of exactly when they were going to go live. I just know the price of when it was going to go live there. So it's something you want to keep an eye out on, especially as you see different counters. You want to maybe set alarms on your phone or events or something to say this is when that timer um, happens. This is when that timer goes up because when it gets to that final price and that final listing price, and now you know that the pre-sale, you know that that launch is coming. So um, I hope that it's something that you have a timeline for rather than just like here's the price and then we'll launch soon and then you have to kind of stay in tune to things for updates on when that launch will happen. I would like it to be, hey, this is the time when it actually is going to launch, like a countdown, as we see with pre-sales. We would see a countdown for the actual launch. So this countdown that we see here, we would see a countdown for the launch. Then that would be what's expected. Did you see a meme coin like Pepe? Did I see a meme coin like Pepe, like a brand new meme coin like Pepe? No, I haven't seen a brand new meme coin like Pepe. Or are you talking about have I seen Pepe? They're doing way better than the rest of the crypto market. So you're talking about Pepe right now. So if you look at the top the top 100, the best performers in the market. Actually, let me go to my watch list. If I go to my watch list, I have Book of Meme on here. Pepe, I don't think it's doing. Where is Pepe? I don't have Pepe on my watch list. I thought I did. Let me add it. I mean, it's not doing better than the rest of the market if that's what you're talking about. Or if you're talking about meme coin, it's like Pepe. Is that because Pepe is down by about 3% in the last 24 hours, but other things in the market are actually up. We're seeing some decent performance. Um, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, we're seeing a lot of things that are kind of pushing it just a little bit. Good morning, Matt. Happy New Year to you. Let's make those gains in 2026. That's what we're hoping for, right? Altcoin season, honestly, in my opinion, and in many others' opinions, should have started in 2025. But 2025, especially the fourth quarter, was rough. Very, very rough for crypto. Not necessarily the roughest for the stock market. I saw some positivity in the stock market, which is great. So it looked like they were moving in the opposite direction, which is a good thing. I will take that because that's how cryptocurrency used to be historically, where crypto market would run, stock market would fall, stock market would rise, crypto market would fall, right? And if we see more of that, that means we could be looking at more and more chances or higher chances to actually see altcoin season happen. And hopefully that massive altcoin season that we believe should be here. You know? Are you still holding Jasmine? Yes, I am. I'm still holding Jasmine coin. I actually hold 1.5 million now instead of just 1 million. I believe Jasmine coin is a great play. Has a lot of potential. And especially at the prices that it's at now, it just makes sense. Um, and if you could have gotten it at 50% of a penny, 54% of a penny, I mean, you're giving yourself a leg up on the rest of the field. You know what I mean? Where you could have, you saw this at a 6 cent price point, but that's not even the actual peak point of where it's going to be. That's kind of the still what I would consider low compared to that $1 price point that we're going to get to. It's only a $50 billion market cap for a one, um, dollar price point there. Hey, what's going on with Luna Classic? I don't know at the moment what's going on with Luna Classic. I just know, you're waiting to see altcoin season. Right now it's sitting at 0.00000043. It's down by 1% in the last 24 hours. If we look at the last month, it's down by 32%. The last year, it's down by 62%. But the last week, it's up by about 10.5%. So it's been making those moves from the three level, the I wouldn't say 3% of a penny, 0.00003 to then push to four to push to five. I believe it got all the way up to 6 or 7. Yeah, it got to seven, almost eight. Um, where now it looks a little bit flat because the market honestly didn't really look that great. But for the last 24 hours, it's slightly down by 1%. We're seeing it at a $237 million market cap with 46 or $47 million worth of volume, which gives us a 19.72% volume market cap ratio. It shows that it has potential, it has push to it, it has popularity. It just needs the flow of money to be into the crypto market to be a lot higher, to be staggering to see Terra Luna Classic really run. Any type of news that we see that happens with Terra Classic, that happens with Doquan, that happens with Terra 2.0, really does push Terra Classic to the next level. So still a huge fan of Terra Luna Classic. I have 103 million now. If you didn't know that, Um, I reinvested some money into Terra Luna Classic at these low levels and expect it to really perform in the end. But that really all depends on altcoin season. On due, I actually don't have on due. Do I have a Roth IRA? I don't. I have a traditional IRA. Were multiple traditional IRAs. But I, well, traditional IRA, and then I have um, yeah, let's just say I have a traditional IRA, not a Roth IRA, because I had a Roth IRA, but I don't qualify for a Roth IRA at the moment. Um, but yeah, traditional IRA does the job. I actually have a IRA that I started that I'm going to keep everybody updated on, and max out my IRA for year over year over year. I've been doing it for I don't know about like 3 months at this point. For that IRA, I maxed out 2025, and I'm also going to max out 2026 in the beginning of the year, hopefully by the end of January. And I'm just going to keep doing that every January. I'm going to max out my Roth IRA and see how that performs and be able to gain, hopefully, 10% ish per year and see that growth. Um, Now I have varying positions that I'm investing into. I'm not just going to throw it all into one, right? Throw it into the S&P 500, but I am going to have the SPY that I'm investing into, SCHG. I have GDLC, which is a crypto 5 ETF, and then I also have the Dow Jones. So I kind of want to mix things where I'm investing in the technology, financial service, industrials, right? I'm investing into but certain percentages into certain things. You know what I mean? To see those markets run, those sectors run. So right now, I have a traditional IRA, not a Roth IRA. Okay, okay. So big money. Just no. So I mean, honestly, I would love to be able to qualify for a Roth IRA more. Um, but it all depends, right? For the last 2 years, it's been at a point to where I can't qualify, but the years prior, it wasn't at that level. Um, I had and still have a Roth IRA. I just can't contribute to it at the moment. And then once my, income gets to a certain level again, hopefully, um, then, I can kind of contribute to that consistently. But I'll still have my traditional IRA to show people what they can make um, in the end. And how it can grow and what you can invest into if you do that over like 30 years or so. So that's my plan. All right, let's look at the crypto market. I'm going to look specifically at coin market cap. Let me see if I can like turn this around. Flip camera. Oh, here we go. There we go. Boom. Kind of. There we go. All right. So you'll see what you can see. But let's look at the crypto market really quick. We'll go back into the chat in just a couple of seconds. So the current crypto market is sitting at a $3.16 trillion market cap. We're looking at the fear and greed index at 42, which is neutral. I don't know. I feel like maybe there's a little bit more greed because of the fact that, a lot of people are bullish for 2026. They believe that 2026 is just going to, push to ridiculous levels. Same as me, right? I feel like if it didn't happen in 2025, that 2026 is going to push altcoins to crazy levels, amazing levels. But maybe that's why you see it neutral rather than more fear, because I still feel like XRP is low compared to the high. I feel like Ethereum, should be or should have already broken that all-time high and resisted from the new all-time high that it creates, whether it was 10,000 or more. It should have resisted from there and sitting at maybe 6,000 or so, right at the cusp of breaking below the previous all-time high, if that makes sense. But that's I can't really predict exactly how people are thinking and how people are going to think. But The altcoin season currently is sitting at 23 out of 100, and then average crypto RSI is sitting at about 58, almost 60. So getting to the overbought territory. Now, one thing that I did invest into that I think is pretty interesting is Coin Market Cap 20 Index DTF. I have, I don't know exactly how many. I think I have like five, I want to say. Oh no, I have nine. So I have nine of the CoinMarketCap 20 index DTF. I feel like that acts as an ETF, and I don't want to like oversell it or pitch it or anything like that. Like I'm not partnered with CoinMarketCap. Would love to. CoinMarketCap, if you want to partner with me and you know have some sort of video or some sort of series or whatever, a sponsored video, feel free to let me know. I'll try and reach out to them, see if I can do some sort of sponsorship because I like what they're doing there, right? The top 20 cryptocurrencies in the market, it's up by 1.62%. It's sitting at $196 and it's only at a $6.6 million market cap. There's a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for acceptance there, especially always being at the top of Coin Market Cap's list, not being at the top by market cap, but just being up there as something that we need to look at. So uh, Bitcoin is sitting at a 92, almost $93,000 price point, almost at that $2 trillion mark, but at a 1.85 trillion dollar mark. Again, it is up by 1.7%, 6% for the last 7 days. Ethereum is up by 1%, 7% for the last 7 days. XRP is up by 2%, 13.74% for the last 7 days. So absolutely making some moves there for XRP. Very excited about that. BNB is back up to the $900 mark, up 2%, 5.84% for the last 7 days. Solana up 1%, 8% for the last 7 days. You see that Dogecoin is down by 3%, so it's had a little bit of overreaction in the last 7 days. It's up by 17.43%. Sitting at a 14 or 15 cent price point. ADA, I still feel like below 40 cents is a absolute steal for ADA, but it's sitting at 39.7 cents, a 14.2, 14.3 billion dollar market cap. Still up by 7% for the last 7 days. Then Bitcoin Cash, 8% for the last 7 days. Chainlink is up by 1% in the 24 hours, 7% for the last 7 days. Let's scroll down here. Let's look at some things that are at the highest increase for 24 hours. Virtual's Protocol is up by 23% or 53%, or sorry, 52% for the last 7 days here, up to $1.06 at a $700 million market cap. Render is at a $1 billion market cap, 18%, 57% for the last 7 days. BitTorrent, 13%, 24 hours, 18% for the last 7 days. Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance. I don't even know what that is. I can't say that I have done a ton of research with this project, but it is up by 12.5%. Majority of the supplies out there. Volume $200 million. $648 million market cap. I might have to look into that a little bit more because majority of the supply is out there versus the max supply. I don't know if it has. It looks like the max supply is the max supply. Right? We're not going to see that get to an infinite amount. Lighter or lit is that a meme coin or is that actually something that holds value? There's 250 million in circulation, which is 25% of the max supply. I don't like that, but it's not crazy, right? I've seen less than 10% of the max supply, which means that you can have a ton of dilution into it. Flare is up by 4%, 6% for the last 7 days, 24% for Arum Dome Finance. Caspa is up by 2%, 14% for the last 7 days. I'm interested in that. Probably should have bought a little bit more of Caspa, and I feel like 5 cents is not a bad price to have it. I think I have like 30,000 Caspa in my possession. So, yeah. Let's look at it. Let's look at the last 7 days here. So Pepe actually is up someone said that Pepe was, running more than the rest of the market. I guess they were talking about for the last 7 days, not necessarily for the last 24 hours. So I wasn't looking at that, but it is up to a 2.8 billion-dollar market cap, which is fantastic. I own a very small amount of Pepe. I don't own a lot. I wish I had the funds to throw more money into the market. Um, but my expectation was obviously the fourth quarter was going to have a reaction of 2025. The fourth quarter was going to have a reaction. I was going to be able to take profits in certain areas. Then I would have funds to throw it into different places, but then also pay taxes that I need to pay. Now I just have to worry about taxes. Um, and but I don't have any new funds to throw into the crypto market, right? Which is what I really wanted, right? I wanted to be able to take some of those gains and then, throw those into other coins that had opportunities, that had potential. So sucks that I don't have that, but we'll try and work our way back up there after we gather, or I won't want to say gather, get all the money for taxes, bring it all together from the places that it's sitting at. Um, Virtuals Protocol again up 52%. MYX Finance is up by 48% over the last 7 days. Bonk is up by 45%. Floki is up by 37%. Pudgy Penguins 33%. Stack 32%. So it looks like a lot of meme coins are actually making decent moves. Seeing the growth out of the last 7 days, and majority of the top runners, Pepe, Bonk, Floki, Pudgy Penguins, being meme coins, shows me that meme coins are kind of making that little bit of a comeback, and we might have a full-fledged meme coin season on our hands, which does come with altcoin season. So that's something that you want to keep an eye out on. But yeah, just wanted to give you a little update. There's a lot more we can look at, trending positions. We can look at ETFs, whatever, right? We can look at all that stuff, but in due time. We have a lot of time at the moment. I get H bar. I have H bar. I don't have a lot of it, but I do have it. Let me flip my camera again. Whoops. I put live GIFs. I don't even know what that is. I know what live GIFs are. If I click it, I guess maybe it's showing me anybody that gave me a gift. You can remove background noise. That's cool. Fetch. I don't have Fetch. Wait, maybe I do. I might be Fetch.ai. Where's Fetch.ai? Fetch. I think this is the position, right? Maybe that's not it. I swear there was. Why is Fetch not popping up? Did Fetch change the logo or something? No, that's a $10,000 market cap. Did they change their name? I'm kind of thrown back here. Give me an update on Fetch if anybody knows what happened to ASI. So they changed their name and changed their. So is it sender? Or wait, are you saying the same? Is that what that is? This is a completely different thing. And it's sitting at a $167,000 market cap. I don't want to discuss something that's a 176 or $167,000 market cap just because anything I do say at that moment does have a little bit of influence on where the price movement is going, and it's not necessarily like I can give it a positive and negative review or talk about it and say this does have potential, and all of a sudden it's at a $500,000 market cap, which may be great for some people, but it's also an overreaction for what the natural movement is. If it's something that's a $1 billion market cap, I'll never have an effect on it. If it's something that a multiple hundred or even multiple tens of millions of dollars worth of market cap, I will never have an effect on it. Unless I somehow get to a million subscribers, then I could potentially have an effect on that. But right now, I don't. I think it's a, I think that the artificial alliance coin you talked about. Oh, you think that's the artificial alliance coin that you talked about? Like they, like the artificial super intelligence alliance. Fetch.ai, Singletary Net, and Kudos have collaborated to establish super intelligence um, alliance. Okay. All tokens will be consolidated to create a universal AI token, ASI. So this is where, oh, this is what Fetch was. FET. I knew that it was this. So okay. So that's 501,000 people that are or 501,000 watch lists, as well as about 700,000 followers for ASI Alliance, and a $650 million market cap with majority of that supply in circulation. So that's something that, again, I said I would probably take a deeper look at. And I think we should, because I would want to own something. That's one thing that I always struggle with is finding a sector and knowing that there are multiples to compete in that sector. And especially since we're in a speculative market, it's very difficult on what is going to make that move to be kind of the front runner. But if you have something that is a consolidated, um, kind of super intelligence alliance where a lot of things come together that are competitors, I guess, in the market to create this larger thing for this large sector of AI, that's a big deal. Now, also, you have to get into the volume to market cap ratio. You have to get into what they're actually doing, what their roadmap is. Um, but it seems like there's a lot of positivity lying here. And it is only at a $652 million market cap. But then, even with that, what is the competitor to Artificial Superintelligence Alliance? Is it um, any other AI project? Let me go ahead and duplicate this. And let me go to, there should be an AI category for like, oh, there we go, up here. So it should be AI. And this is the thing that you deal with AI is like every cryptocurrency is also trying to find a way to implement AI. So everything's going to be on that list. So you can have a bit sensor, you can have a near protocol, you can have an internet computer, you can have a render, and those be sitting at multiple billion-dollar market caps. But are they or were they specifically uh, built to be AI, or AI have the main functionality with it rather than just in a subset of it, near protocol. Anyways, how many people do we have on YouTube? We have 57 people that are on YouTube, 17 likes. We have 376 likes on TikTok. If you guys can just tap that screen, give me a little bit more likes, I would appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, feel free to hit that like button, get me to about 30 likes. That would be amazing. But let's go ahead and look at the chat. See what people are saying. What's going on with the classic? I read that. Good morning, Matthew. It's nice to wake up with green on the screen. Very, very true. I'm excited to see any type of green. Um, obviously I want to see things absolutely explode, but I'm excited to see where we are. And also this week, Harper's starting basketball season. Her first game is this week, and her second game is the same day. So it should be good. I'm coaching one team, and she's just playing on the other team. Um, but it's gonna be good. I can't wait. I don't think they're gonna be crazy, like scoring crazy numbers, but it depends how Harper's shot is falling, because some days she can make everything, and some days she makes nothing. So uh, we'll see. I'm excited for that. So excited. We got another practice today. Yesterday we had like 4 hours of a practice. So fun. Um, what are your thoughts on Flair? On Flair, I've heard a lot of, especially lately, a lot of positivity around Flair. I believe because of you know, its connection, I believe, with XRP. Yeah. And many people have been talking about this lately. When you do have that connection with something that is so popular, that is going to grow to, I believe, the number one cryptocurrency in the world, but that's totally on, your opinion or my opinion, right? I don't want you to just say, oh, uh, it's definitely getting to number one in the world. I think it is for sure. In due time, once people start, respecting the utility a lot more. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't have it. I would have had it. I mean, right now it's sitting at about $1 billion market cap, $733 million worth of volume. The thing that worries me is the fact that it's kind of like, I would say it's like CRO because it doesn't have the volume that it should, right? Sitting at 68th by market cap, seeing less than 1% volume to market cap ratio really tells you that it doesn't have a crazy amount of popularity unless some news comes out where it's tied to something that is popular or doing something for a project or chain that is popular, right? So I want to say that it's going to be wildly successful, which I think that really is, it depends on what you want to get out of it. I think either way, it will be wildly successful. You'll see over multiple hundreds of percents worth of a gain with this play. But it's just whether it's going to get to those levels or get to those high levels and consistently hold at those levels. That's kind of where that stands for me. And I'm always looking for that for the long term. And I can't say that I would see that here. And again, I haven't done a crazy amount of research into it, so maybe I'm not seeing it because I'm not looking. Um, Rather than saying, "Oh, it's not happening," right? I never want to count anything out. I try not to use those absolutes um, because anything can happen and anything can be implemented in something that you wouldn't have known, right? You can have a partnership that's the biggest partnership in the world, and then all of a sudden that position is worth more than any position that you own. Could happen. So yeah. Can Luna Classic ever reach to $1? So I think it can. The issue with Terra Luna Classic reaching $1, it depends on decreasing that supply. And I think the different ways you can decrease the supply, whether you like it or you don't, right? You can see consistent burns that happen through exchanges. You can see consistent burns that happen through activities, through utility. um, you can see a a decrease in that supply in the sense of a reverse split, meaning that you would offer everybody that owns Terra Luna Classic, you would say, I'll give you one, you give me 100, which doesn't sound fantastic, but it does bring the supply down. And then now you have the ability to get to higher prices. But while it's bringing the supply down, it brings your supply down. So let's say you do take two zeros off the top, right, for Lunic. Let's say you do take two zeros off the top. Every one Terra Luna Classic that they give out, you end up getting, or you end up giving 100 back. So you're taking two zeros off the top of this circulating supply, meaning that instead of being at a 5.4 trillion dollar or 5.4 trillion coin supply, you're now at a 54. Yeah, I want to say 54 because it would be 540, and then you would be at $54 billion market cap or billion coin supply instead of being at trillions. Um, that now means in order to get to $1, you would be at a $54 billion market cap. But also, if you own, let's say, a million, it's taking a million off of, or it's taking two zeros off of your million that you hold. So instead of you having 1 million coins, you're now having 100,000 coins. So if it gets to a dollar, it's going to be $100,000 for you. But the reason why I said that this is a good idea, I've always said that, is because the whole point of Terra Luna Classic and what we're doing with it is the recovery, is getting it back to square one so that we can see the implementation of the algorithm again, as well as see a repeg of USTC. Um, and seeing that gives it more life to go further than a dollar. So say we did burn down that supply, somehow burn down the supply to 1 trillion, and then we did a reverse split to basically say that we would take away two zeros. That would now get us to a 10 billion coin supply, meaning that we could get to a dollar at 10 billion dollar market cap, or we can get to a $10 price point at a $100 billion market cap, giving it so much more room. So now you still did your 100 to 1 split, took two zeros off the top of yours, but your 100,000 coins at $10 a piece is now worth $1 million because it gave it the opportunity to exceed the dollar, not just get to a dollar, exceed it. So I think there's opportunity, there's abilities to get there. It's just there's many people in the community that are not willing to accept the way that we get there. So that's kind of what I have there. So I think yes, it has a potential chance, but even at a 1 cent price point now, you're still looking at massive gains. So I'll take that as well. Thoughts on BlockDAG now? I haven't looked at BlockDAG in a while. I was supposed to get a miner from them, and I don't know if I did. I haven't checked my P.O. box in a while. I don't even know if you get notifications or any type of updates on whether you have something in your P.O. box. But I should probably do that. I was supposed to get a miner from them, utilize the miner. They haven't hit me up to let me know, hey, we sent that out, it was delivered, and this is what we want you to do with it. Because there was supposed to be some sort of a sponsorship deal on utilizing the miner and seeing what you can get out of it, seeing the growth, seeing the profit, all of that stuff. So I have no opinion on BlockDAG now. They have a new CEO. Okay, maybe that's why we had a change of hearts with things. But the whole purpose of me getting a PO box and the size of a PO box that I got was to accept that delivery, utilize it, and then obviously I wouldn't need the PO box as much at all. I think I've been sent like two things from different companies, but yeah, that's it. But the PO box can be expensive, especially the size that I got, rather than just accepting, mail or something. Can Luna Classic ever? Oh, I read that. Hope you're right about altcoin season. God, I need it. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is it would be great if it does come in, but the thought process can never be that, you know, that you need that to happen absolutely right now. That it makes you impatient as you see cryptocurrency fall. Patience is key in any market, right? If you're into the stock market, there's a lot of people that I have talked to about, creating maybe a Roth IRA or something, and investing consistently into a position or consistently into that Roth IRA, and seeing your growth have an average of maybe 10% or even higher than that, depending on what you're investing into. It could be a high technology fund, and then you're skyrocketing. You see it up 20% in the last year. But then when they do invest, they start seeing that negativity, and they're like, I can't lose the money that I put in there because I see how much it is. It's $100, it's $200, it's $1,000. That's a lot of money. There's what was it, 70 people in the US don't have $1,000 in their bank account. So, and I wouldn't say that's including me, because I have to have a certain amount. in there. But even when I think about it, I try and make sure anything that's free funds, I throw it, into a place where it can be invested, right? I'm not looking for my money to sit ever. Um, but yeah, I think if you get to a point where you are impatient, it can really backfire on you. Make sure you are patient in these markets because when it does happen, we will all be excited. We will all be happy for it. But if you were pushing for this to happen in a short period of time so that you can pay this or, you know, put the money back on your mortgage or something, whatever, that's not the thought process. That's not the mindset that you want to have. Um, Thank you for following Tennessee Ray. I appreciate it. If you guys can double tap the screen and get me to, maybe 1,000, 2,000 likes, that would be amazing. I used to give out cryptocurrency. When XRP was at a low price, I would give out XRP. I know some of those people, if they still held on to that XRP, are happy right now and were happy when it was at $3.50. I talked to one of them that was like, "You gave me a thousand XRP when it was at um, 50 cents. So, sorry, not a thousand X. What's a thousand XRP? Yeah, I gave you a thousand XRP when it was at 50 cents, and you're looking at a $500 value at that point, and now it's sitting at multiple thousands of dollars, 2,000 plus dollars at the $3.65 price point. It's sitting at $3,600, and I forget where and when they were talking about that. I think it might have been at like the 250 or 270 mark, and I'm pretty sure they sold it, uh, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, I'm happy for them that they were able to make gains from XRP. Hopefully, they still have those those coins. But that was amazing. I always like to do good for people, help people out in a way that are here, watching the stream and stuff. So we'll get back to doing something like that as we move along. I want to have longer live streams again, right? It's not going to be something where we just have a one-off live stream. I want to do a little bit more for like a few hours and just talk about the crypto market, see where the crypto market is. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. What's your opinion on CRO? I'm still bullish on CRO, very bullish on CRO. I feel like crypto.com is doing so much for Kronos, the Kronos chain. Seeing, the Trump media partnership and everything that's there. Um, it's positivity, right? There's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of unknowns. And those unknowns, again, I've said this before, make things insanely interesting. If you don't know what is going to happen, but you have a ton of positivity that's out there, know that there is a large amount of light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's just nighttime, and you can't see where the end of the tunnel actually is. But it's there, and it's going to be big, right? That's my opinion. I hold over 400,000 CRO. 200,000 is set for to hold forever, right? I don't plan on letting it go. I don't plan on doing anything with it. Um, and then 200,000, I think we have like a good amount that's also staked elsewhere. But I know for sure about 100,000 is going to be sold at different points um, for profit, right? Profit taking. But 200,000, I'm pretty much going to hold forever. I don't plan on touching it for the sake of the cards, right? The credit card. If I can ever actually get the credit card, they want me to um, they want me to confirm my phone number, and the problem is they never send me a message, right? I don't know what's going on. I've tried to get the card plenty of times, and I don't know what's happening with it. But I have the funds in there. I staked for the icy white card. I just haven't been able to get it. I still have the prepaid card rather than um, the one that you throw funds in, you top off. Um, but then, you have the credit card, and I can't seem to actually get an application for it. Or if the application goes through, I can't confirm my phone number. Are we still thinking that the crypto marketplace still has the same rules as it has for the last decade? Um, I don't think so. I feel like the crypto market has changed drastically, and that's why I've said that many people that think we're going to have the same type of bear market, they may be wrong. The bear market could be more flat than it is a downhill slide just because of the ETFs, the traditionalists that are getting into it. The problem that we have here with marrying the two traditionalists and non-traditionalists um, is having single ETFs, having Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF, XRP ETF. Those are individual impacts that you can make on that position specifically. However, an all encompassing ETF would be life changing and game changing for the crypto market because it adds that consistency of a traditional investor into the broader market and having that traditional mindset. Right now, with a Bitcoin ETF, you're still investing directly into Bitcoin, just kind of indirectly, right? You're investing it through this fund, and the fund is buying Bitcoin and owning Bitcoin. Now you decide to sell. Many people that decide to have outflows, you have less. You have Bitcoin outflows as well. So it's impacting the price of Bitcoin. It's following the price of Bitcoin as you have those investments that are happening. But if you had an all-encompassing thing, it's more of percentages. I'm investing 60% into Bitcoin, 40% into this, right? Whatever. And then as you have an even broader market, you have 20% into Bitcoin, 10% into Ethereum, 5% into XRP, right? And you start to have higher percentages of other positions, right? It's an XRP leading ETF, but you still have Bitcoin included in it. You still have Ethereum included in it, right? XRP is at 25%, Bitcoin is sitting at 10%, right? XRP is at 50%, Bitcoin is at 5%, Ethereum at 5%, BNB at 5%. Those things will affect the market in such a big way. An AI ETF, right? Finding all the AI positions, investing into those AI positions, the top AI positions, and now you have that ETF. A metaverse ETF, and so on and so forth. I think that is what's going to create stability for the market, but I don't think it'll react the same way that history has shown crypto to react. I think we still will have a bear market. I was just thinking instead of seeing the 70%, we'll see somewhere around 40 or 50% of a drop from the all-time high. My nose itches every time I talk. I don't know why. It's like the vibration of my voice makes my nose itch. What's up, bro? What's up, Latin 50? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. You still gaming? I tell you what, I still play some games from time to time. I play I beat Ghost of Yotai. I was very hyped to play that game, and I'm playing it my second time around. I also beat Assassin's Creed Shadows multiple times, and this is like my third time around or something. Might be my fourth. I don't know. I love that game. Um, but I love the stories and stuff like that. So I've been huge on PlayStation games rather than because I've always been an Xbox person, but for main stories, I'm all for you know PlayStation and Steam and stuff like that. What's new, man? Is crypto going to be a bull market this year because 2025 got delayed? Yeah, I mean, it was tough seeing 2025 react the way it was and move the way it moved, especially the fourth quarter. So many people expected the fourth quarter to be insanely bullish, and we didn't see that movement. we saw the exact opposite, and it shows, right, that many people will say this was going to happen, and then the opposite happens. Are we going to do the same thing with 2026, or is it inevitable, right, that we will see this altcoin season? Um, that's what I'm afraid of, right? More and more people will say, if it didn't happen this year, it has to happen this year. If it didn't happen this year, it has to happen this year, right? Where will it happen as it's least expected? We'll start to see it plummet and go down to a 1.5 trillion dollar market cap or something, just because it's going to happen when we least expect it, and then everything skyrockets to not only a 2 trillion but a 3 trillion and 4 trillion and 5 trillion and 10 trillion dollar market cap, because everybody was least expecting those things to happen. Also, I feel like it's different with the control of cryptocurrency through ETFs, because inevitably they do control crypto, right? Because the more money that they have invested into, if you're talking about $1 billion worth of inflows into XRP ETFs, what do they decide to do with it? They sell it, they buy it, they do whatever the fund is going to do to see that success. Um, Same thing goes for Bitcoin. Same thing goes for Ethereum. But you're seeing multiple billions that are flowing in and out of these funds. Um, don't chase price predictions, but where could you see a CRO coin being at the next being at up to 20 cents? Where do I see CRO coin being at and up to 20 cents? I think it's going to be higher than 20 cents. I think we're going to see CRO at a dollar plus. Um, I would say at the previous supply, I was pushing for the $3 mark to be kind of a staple, like it's going to get there. But then when they added the supply back, and now they're consistently adding the supply to the circulating supply, that's where it gets tough. And now it's like, as it continues to increase, it goes from $3 to down to $2. And while it still has the ability to get to $3, it's just for a comfortability, right? Where it's like getting to a $50 billion market cap or getting to a $75 billion market cap is something that many people can accept over getting to a $150 billion market cap, right? If we're at 50 billion coins in circulation, well, now you're saying, all right, getting to a $2 price point is a $100 billion market cap. A $3 price point is a $150 billion market cap. While it still has the ability to get to $150 billion, it's just, I want people to be comfortable with what those predictions are. So I'll say, a 60 billion, $70 billion market cap is is more obtainable or more realistic for what your gains are. Majority of people that are watching these videos, live streams, and getting updates on crypto have a large portion that's set for short term, and they have a a smaller portion that's set for the long term, right? Where it's factors in utility. And if you have that short term, they're looking for things like CRO to run to a dollar so that they can react, sell it, get back in it at 50 cents, or just sell whatever portion they have. It gets up to $1.50. They sell whatever portion they wanted to, and it gets up to $2. They sell more, right? Looking for the profit that they can take from it rather than what CRO can do. Um, I have a large portion, half of what I own, that's set for what CRO is going to do versus the other half that's set for maybe some of those short term plays that I just mentioned. CRO was 40 cents just a couple of months ago. Hopefully, we can get back to that point again this year. Yeah, I think it's going to get back to that point for sure. Um, put everything in my mama's name. You put everything in my mama name. Get H bar. Again, I have H bar. Again, I don't know how much I have of it. Let me see if I can bring up. I don't have Coinbase up. I thought I would. There are 6 people on TikTok. If you can like tap that screen, get me to like 1,000 or even 2,000 likes, that would be amazing. Just continue to tap the screen. You can do like 700 likes if you want to. Thank you for following, Mike. I appreciate it. Let me see. Crypto. Mm, What am I looking for when it comes to crypto? H bar. Knew it was something. Um, H bar, H bar, H bar. I have 7,527 H bar. Not a lot by any means. I am slightly up on that position. I'm up by 32, 33% from where I invested. Um, and it's only $940 at the moment. But yeah, I could honestly own more. There's a lot of things that I'm down on. It's just a few things that are really pushing it to the next level that's kind of taken away any of those losses. One huge one being XRP, where I invested at and how much this grows. I see it grow by every, um, cent, every 10 cents. I'm seeing massive growth with it, which is fantastic. But yeah, I wish I would have a million XRP like some people, but I'm still in the top 1% of holders there, I believe, with how much I have. Because there's a lot of people that have also taken profit at $3.65, but I don't think it's done there, so we'll see a lot more growth. I'm staking XRP with Flare right now. What's your percentage? Good morning, Matt and friends. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everybody else. I appreciate you guys being here and chatting it up with me. And we made it to a new year. I've only been in this market for about a year. I've been putting every bit that I can, and once it gets to a certain point, I'm going to build a business to make more money. Okay. Okay. What's your business that you plan on making? Do you have a certain business there? I can tell you, I have a business that I want to open, but I need to see that people really want to do it. You know, um, I saw this. We went to the Netflix house and it reopened my eyes to it. We went to the Netflix house in Philly or wherever, like in King of Prussia, and uh, they had an indoor mini golf thing that was themed and all that stuff. I would love to have an indoor mini golf course that either does have some sort of a theme, and whether we do pay some of the profits to, I don't know, copyright and trademarks and all this other stuff, um, but then have that indoor feel to it to where everything's tracked. It was great to see that, right? You put your ball down, and once you put your ball down, it said who you were, it said what your score is, how many hits you had, all of that, right? You didn't have to track anything, you didn't have to carry a card. I want that for 18 holes, not just for 9 holes. And to be able to have it themed in any way would be amazing. But if I don't have it themed and it's still just something that's a mini golf course the way that it was, I think it would be like people would love it. It would be fantastic. But that's kind of my business and what I would like to do. An indoor mini golf course around my area would be amazing. We have nothing of the sort. We have outdoor mini golf, but I feel like indoor would be phenomenal. I would like something that could be indoor outdoor, right? Where uh, it's kind of like a stadium where the roof opens and you have an an outdoor kind of experience. The sun shining down. You got kind of an opening and everything. Like I would like something like that, but I haven't ever, um, saw it or really thought about how that would take place, especially with all the electronics. So it would make it difficult if it did somehow just start to rain, or we knew that rain was in the forecast, we would have to keep the roof closed. But then, like the people going to mini golf courses, families, they have specifics, like they want to be out and about enjoying the good weather with their family. So that would take away from the profits. But that's a whole nother discussion. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you only been in it for a year, you're not investing at necessarily the lowest point. Some of them you might, right? I feel like ADA, I feel like you could have gotten AVAX at a very low point. You could have, especially with the decrease that we saw recently in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I think it was October, where things fell down so far. You saw a massive drop for everything. XRP was even down to a dollar like 27. Um, Seeing that and being able to invest at that point, I mean, you're finding like gold. Um, if you need an alternative number for the card you were looking to get, I used Sentinel. What is that? I'm in the Philippines and I have a USA number. It works. So the problem is that I've used alternative numbers, right? I have my number, I have my wife's number, I have my daughter's number that I could use just to verify something so I can get the card, right? And it's still no message comes through. They don't send me any message. I have a USA phone number, right? I have a Pennsylvania phone number, um, and it should work, but I don't know why it's not. I've tried it literally thousands of times at this point. I've seen your videos of Terra Luna Classic. What's up there with Luna Classic? So Luna Classic is at a low level. It hasn't had a lot of um, a lot of activity lately. If we look at the last maybe month, we've seen it pick up to a 70% of a penny, or not 70% of a penny, but I think it's like 7% or even zero point 0.7. But it's at 0.00007, approaching the drop zero level. Um, Now that came off of just simple news that Do Kwon and the court case and his potential sentencing, which I don't know exactly what that was. Um, and you saw the hype, you saw the push, you saw how many millions of dollars that went into it just off the basis of that. Um, when altcoin season does happen, when you do have more interest in altcoins, you'll see a lot that flows into Terra Luna Classic. I decided to buy more at lower levels. I think it was 0.00003 that I bought more. I currently hold 103 million Terra Luna Classic. Big fan of Terra Luna Classic. Would love to see them succeed in the algorithm and replacing and reestablishing the algorithm. To see USTC repegged, all of that stuff. Now we don't know if those things are going to happen, but it would be great for Terra Classic if the all of those things did happen, right? If you did see the algorithm, if you did see the restoration of that as well as repegging of USTC, it would create a lot more life for Terra Luna Classic, for the Classic chain, and it would move to higher and higher levels. But repegging of the algorithm depends on if Terra Luna Classic can support USTC in the end, because the whole point of that is have Terra Luna Classic at a higher value than what USTC is. And if USTC is valued at a dollar, Terra Luna Classic also needs to be valued at higher than a dollar. So, um, an all-inclusive ETF something that is in the works, or are we talking pie in the sky dreams? So all-inclusive ETF is not just pie in the sky dreams, right? If we look at let me go to my retirement account. So this is my traditional IRA that I have started. I don't know, maybe like a few months ago, and I invested a decent amount into something called GDLC. This is a Crypto 5 ETF. It's Grayscale CoinDesk Crypto 5 ETF. It tracks the top 5 cryptocurrencies in the market. So it's definitely not a pie in the sky dream. You already have all encompassing ETFs here, where it does track the top 5, which is basically 85 to 90% of the crypto market. But what we want to see is um, I have a limit order that's going to be placed. I didn't place a limit order. But what we want to see is not only a crypto 5 ETF, we want to see a crypto 25 ETF, um, or even further than that, right? We want to see that um, not only is Bitcoin at a 60% dominance, we want to see that at a 30% dominance, and then see altcoins that are dominating the market as well, or majority of altcoins that are dominating the market at 70%. That's what we want to see. And then we can see more consistency into different funds and different reactions. Currently, the crypto market reacts mainly based on what Bitcoin's doing. If we get to a point, and when we get to a point to where the crypto market reacts based on what that sector's doing, right? If AI is absolutely flying, AI will run, right? If meme coins are what people are interested in that moment, meme coins will run. However, Bitcoin doesn't need to make any moves, but Pepe and Grok and many other meme coins are now set to explode, right? So when we see that, then we'll be able to have these reactions. We'll be able to have these, the top 5, the top 20, the top 50, the top 100 cryptocurrencies. There's already this ETF. Um, you have, let me go back here. You have, if you go to CoinMarketCap, you can see that CoinMarketCap even created a 20 index DTF, which is like an ETF, but with coins, and they're tracking the top 20 coins compared to or um, comprised by CoinMarketCap. So that's not necessarily a traditional way of investing into that, but it's kind of introducing looking at the top 5 or tracking the top 20 cryptocurrencies in the market. So it's here. It's just you need to see more and more of it. And I think with more ETFs that are created, you're then going to see more combined ETFs, sector ETFs that happen, but in due time. Thank you for the finger heart. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys double tap the screen or triple tap or quadruple tap. Just keep tapping. Tap 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 tap. Tap 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 tap. Tap tap tap. How's it going? I enjoy your content. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Bro, please don't start with the videos. Nothing to be excited about yet. Um, so I think there's always something to be excited about, right? I'm very excited about where crypto is going to be and what my portfolio looks like. In the last few days, I've seen, or the last couple of days, um, I've seen my portfolio rise from where I just talked about it. I don't know what the price point was or the total balance point was for my one of my last videos that I made. Let me see videos. So I was sitting at 432,000. I am in the last few days, and that was 2025 of my entire portfolio and where it stood. In 4 days, I am up by over $70,000 from that, right? That's what's amazing. So there's definitely something to be very hype about, very excited about. These, for some reason, the other cat was hissing at um, my oldest cat is hissing at the two younger cats. Uh, Rumors Doquan might do something with the community. how can you see Terra Classic repegging in what scenario? So you definitely need to see a decrease in the supply in both supplies. I feel like there needs to be some sort of implementation to do that. And with a burn by exchanges or burn by volume, that would be the best case scenario, in my opinion. If you can get exchanges on board, majority of the volume that happens is through exchanges. If you can see those burns that happen, then that really does boost our chances of seeing the repeg, seeing the re-enabling of the algorithm, seeing Terra Luna Classic with a much lower supply, USTC with a much lower supply, kind of reestablishing and starting from scratch without necessarily starting from scratch. Then there's also the reverse split, which I think is one of the best ideas after you see the community that comes together for burns, because while it does decrease the amount that you own, right, takes away two zeros from that, it still gives you the chance to see USTC repeg and Terra Luna Classic also get to a level where it has the ability to get to $1, $10, $20, right? The places where it can support the algorithm. If the algorithm happens and let's say Terra Luna Classic still has a trillion coins in supply, it's going to be difficult to say that this can get to $1 because that's a $1 trillion market cap. And now, how is Terra Luna Classic going to support USTC at the value of $1 when Terra Luna Classic isn't at a value of $1? The reason why it worked so well is if anything did happen um, at a medium scale or lower, right? If it was higher scale, you saw what happened. But a medium scale or lower, then Terra Luna Classic can support USTC by minting coins. Um, and since you have such a high value for Terra Luna Classic at $80 or $120, it made it easy to say that I can mint 100 or I can support USTC in a way of getting 120 times the value out of just one Terra Luna Classic to support USTC. If you go, I need to mint two Terra Luna Classic for every one USTC, it's going to make it very difficult, and you're going to see more minting that happens over here. And you're instead of you looking for that medium threshold of like, hey, this needs a medium level of support. A medium level of support would absolutely collapse Terra Luna Classic again. Even potentially a low level of support of what USTC would need would collapse Terra Luna Classic again. So Terra Luna Classic needs to be at a place to where it can support USTC in order to see, um, kind of them move together um, and see it repegged and see the algorithm actually work. All right, guys, I need to go and get these kids up, and I need to feed them breakfast. So I will. I'll be back. I'm gonna end. I mean, TikTok is just starting to get a little bit of viewers. Nice to see you out here. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go get them up and make sure that they're awake, and then I'll be back down. And then once Hayden is up there, I'm gonna get them to breakfast and I have to do their hair and all that stuff. So just give me a little bit. I don't even know how to pause the live. Ah, it says it right there. Pause live. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. All right. So we are back for about 20 minutes, and I have to go get the kids breakfast. Let's see. We'll do that camera. Let's see, bro. Guys, somebody said something. Let me go back up here. Mm, uh, we're way far behind. You beat me to mom to the max. I don't understand what folks are doing here if they are so negative. Don't you think this could be just the beginning of a bear market? What makes you think otherwise? So, um, not seeing altcoin season yet definitely as a main um, that's a main factor or main point as to why I do believe those are gonna the altcoin season is gonna happen. But when you look at all of the things that are you know that have happened, the positivity and the lack of growth that we've seen in altcoins, right? You saw Bitcoin rise to higher and higher levels. You saw XRP rise to higher and higher levels, but you never saw the reaction or push from other altcoins. AVAX never pushed high up to its all-time high, right? Market cap wise or price wise. Um, Cardano never pushed. Cosmos never pushed. A lot of meme coins never pushed. So you know that those things that money will start to trickle down. It hasn't yet because a lot of the money that we can see is flowing that is flowing into the crypto market was flowing from institutional volume people that wanted to get into it into the ETFs and the money flows into Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of those there, but we haven't even seen Ethereum hit a new all-time high. XRP still hasn't hit a new all-time high, but market cap wise it has approached the highest market cap that it's ever seen. Bitcoin has approached the highest market cap that it's ever seen. Um, but Ethereum, the second largest coin in the market, hasn't broken up to create a brand new all-time high. I know it has technically, but barely, right? You expect a lot more out of something that is a major altcoin in the market. It shows that we haven't actually seen altcoin season yet. We've seen a starting point and belief that altcoin season is going to happen, but the problem is that if so many people believe that it's an altcoin season or that it's that altcoin season is going to happen, it won't happen. The good thing is, I'll take this. We have a lot of negativity that I can see in the chat, meaning that we have a larger amount of people that are thinking that this could be a bear market. And when you think that it's a bear market, it ends up not being that bear market and it goes exactly the opposite way. So if we are seeing that many people are like, hey, when you think this is negative, when you think this is going to be bearish, that's what I want to hear. The more fear that you have, the more reason that there's going to be a lot more greed in the market. That makes sense? Pulse chain. Any interest in ape or penguin? I don't have either of those. Or, you know, yeah, I don't have any of those. Pump Fun is up there with crypto YouTubers for sure. Crypto YouTubers are equivalent to FTX, bro. I mean, I have to disagree, but I definitely would have to disagree. Um, so honestly, I think exchanges are, yo, what's going on? Thank you for being here on TikTok. I appreciate it. Um, I think exchanges are a huge problem, or at least people should look at them that way. Exchanges are the biggest reason of why something does run. A lot of people would like to say, oh, somebody pushing it are the reasons that it's running. No, unless you have a million followers or multiple millions of followers, I don't think that's the case, right? Because like exchanges, let's show you this. Exchanges will charge a cryptocurrency to get listed on Coinbase. It could be $2 million for them to get listed on Coinbase. Plus, they would have to offer their coins for them to be able to trade. Sometimes Coin Market Cap, or sorry, Coinbase will just buy the positions themselves because they know they would make a ton from the volume that happens for it. So for like a meme coin that's absolutely skyrocketing or running, they can add to that, and now they're seeing multiple millions of dollars and they see all of the fees from it. But for a currency, let's say that's only going to give you maybe $20 million worth of volume or something, maybe at max $100 million. That might not be enough for Coinbase to go, I want to buy this myself and just accept the profits. No, they want the company, or not the company, the cryptocurrency, to reach out to them to go, we want to get listed on Coinbase. What do we have to offer? Well, it'll be $2 million plus you have to provide the coins in order to trade on there. And they do it, right? Um, so the exchange is getting so much money to list this thing, which then they end up putting on Twitter, which has multiple millions of followers, and they end up pushing that position because they have multiple millions of followers. So um, exchanges are the biggest, I wouldn't say problem, but the biggest pusher of cryptocurrencies in general. Without it being on exchanges, you wouldn't see as much volume. The only exception to that was when we saw some meme coins that come up out of nowhere, like a Dogecoin, but then also being able to offer Dogecoin on Robinhood was a big reason to why that did push to a whole nother level. So exchanges are a big reason why you see things absolutely run or skyrocket or fall heavily, have major reactions like that, because they're pushing it with all of their followers and all of their influence. Um, so, and I'm not saying that all exchanges are bad. They want to be able to make money and they're profit drivers and all that stuff. But if you look at it, they're accepting they're accepting millions of dollars from various cryptocurrencies just to be listed on their platform. I'm going to be doing homestead livestock and putting money into assets like with dividends. That's good. It's a good plan. Thank you for your content consumption, Vince. Congratulations. Then you are the problem. You are a part of the problem. Yeah, I mean, everybody can have their own opinion. I'm not gonna fault people for feeling a certain way. I just gave you my breakdown of why I believe exchanges can be bad. Um, so everybody can have their own opinion as long as it's, you add context to it. I've been checked out a year ago. You can't ignore it. All on my feed, YouTube feed, bro. I'm opening a poultry daycare for people that go on vacation for somewhere where they can bring their chickens and ducks to be cared for. I don't know if you have a large market for that. Um, is it a Chick-fil-A? Sorry, I apologize. Do you realize how traumatized by Moon Boy faces on YouTube, bro? Do I realize how? Why does every sentence have to end with bro? That's really like you could just say what you were gonna say. It doesn't have to end with bro every time you. Moon Boy faces have given me PTSD, bro. Vince, come on. I like your business idea. I hope it falls through for you. The Oh, my business idea for the I thought you were talking about the chickens, but you were the one that mentioned the chickens, and now you're saying my idea with the mini golf. I hope it does. I've been looking at an indoor mini golf course for I don't know, since I was in college. So about 11 years from where we are. That's crazy to say that out loud. 11 years ago. For a dome stadium, for your mini golf course, look up old Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Uh, it had a retractable dome. I feel like that's way too large for the mini golf course that I want. And also, I don't need like stadium seating or anything. I wouldn't want to demolish anything. All I need is a decent sized commercial building. It doesn't even have to be huge because a mini golf course can fit in it. I had a whole business plan in college for it, that I created for a project. And when I brought it to my wife's family's attention, we've always talked about opening that mini golf course and kind of splitting the profits and reinvesting the profits and finding ways to you know make it even more profitable. So we've talked about it plenty of times. I think now is probably the best time that I would have more of the funds for it, but I would like to get to a point where it's a lot of comfortability with what I have and what's in my investments that's gaining me 10% or so per year, right? What are you looking at, man? What's that cat looking at? Sentinel is a mobile number company. No, not Lunic. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. No one should even mention Luna. What do you mean? Terra Luna Classic is a great project that has a ton of potential. Just because something does fail based on um, somebody's decision making, doesn't mean it can't recover. There's many businesses that had maybe a failing model to begin with, um, didn't do things the right way. One thing would be Marvel and having to sell all of the rights to everything and then slowly obtain everything back with their successes of their movies. They do things the right way, um, the second time around, right? So I feel like if you do have that recovery, the community understands what needs to be done. However, you need somebody in front to say, this is where we're going and this is how we get there. Community vote on this. Do we believe that this is the route that we go? Explain yourself as the front runner, as the leader, as the CEO, to say, this is why we're going here. This is why we're going here, and this is what we can expect in the end. And then we vote on that. I lost all my I lost all my Lunic to a wallet drained in Happy Happy Cats TG group. Only time I've ever wait, only time I've ever been got since I got into crypto. It was the beginning of my exit from crypto, to be honest. Um oh, so you're saying that you lost a large amount of your Lunic wallet in that TG group? Was it something that you just clicked on or something that you believed in or what like how did that happen? We had a $4 trillion market cap before October. Got to get back up. I think we will. USTC will never repeg. There is not and will never be enough consensus among validators. Yeah, I mean that's why you need um, somebody to kind of make that decision for us. I feel like once you get to a point, we got to a certain point, that absolutely smells. I do not like that. Give me a second. Yeah, that was bad. Why does the cat have to do that right when I'm live streaming? All right, I got about 4 minutes, and I'm gonna go up and feed these kids some breakfast. I will be on live for a while. We can talk about different things, and I just want to chat it up with you guys, see what's happening. Change the title from time to time to see what what people want to talk about, what people want to hear about. That's amazing, Matt. I'm happy to hear that for you and your family. Well, thank you. Does Binance still do their monthly burns? Yes, they still do. It's much lower. They still do their monthly burns just because the volume isn't insanely high. I have to check what this month's burns were because last month or yeah, last month we saw a decent size increase of volume for Terra Luna Classic, right? So I kind of want to see let's see, Lunic burn metrics and go to some top burners. Let's see, Binance burns. Uh, so yeah, this is one of the largest burns that we've seen in a very, very long time. Lunic was just burned. You had that's a million, billion, 5.2 billion Terra Luna Classic was burned on the 1st of January. I want to talk about that. Okay. But yeah, 5.2 billion was burned. Um, Shibarium blockchain, have you been on it? I want to hop on any yield. I think in the beginning stages of things for Shibarium, I don't believe in anything that these ecosystem dev teams have created. It doesn't impact Shib at all. So I'm not even looking at it or paying attention to it. Um, I really wish that we can go back in time and call them out for what they are. And then we could have avoided everything that we went through and saw the positivity in the ecosystem, in the actual ecosystem, rather than the ecosystem that they created. I've been on the Lunic train wreck from the falling knife. I do not believe it will come back. For those of you holding, I hope it does. But after all the infuriating drama between validators, conspiracies, yeah, I I had given up all hope before my wallet was drained of all of mine. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, I had to step away multiple times because of all of the drama. Like if I had any type of an opinion, it was like the people with the loudest voice would say that they controlled everything. And all they want to do, and I've said this, I couldn't have been more right. Um, and all they wanted to do was just see whatever their business, I want to say business, their business would survive, that their voice would survive this entire thing, that what they believed was the right way would always be the right way. And it was never the right way. You cannot, you cannot focus on the utility without fixing the problem at hand. Right? The problem at hand was not the fact that we didn't have the same um, D apps that were creating and you know flow of Terra Luna Classic through different builders and everything. Like that wasn't the problem. The problem was that you saw um, USTC get depegged. You saw what Terra Luna Classic had to do in order to kind of try and maintain that pegged price, and how much Terra Luna Classic they minted to try and get this back based on the algorithm. You saw the problem. The supply is way too high, right? We need to fix that supply. The best case scenario would have been to get everybody to sacrifice something. And sacrifice could be in many different ways. It could be because the idea is to recover something. If you're looking to recover something, you either have help, outside help, or you find a way to do it as a community. So the best possible way would have been to take the burn rate and just consistently see that burn rate happen. Now, the burn rate was a test on chain to show that this can affect the the outcome of how much what the price can get to, that this can affect the overall supply and effectively get us back to the supply that we need. It showed that it worked, right? You see the supply that's burning. You see the interest the in the chain in Terra Luna Classic because of staking. Now, with everybody that's staked, you're not seeing as much volume on chain. Now that money or the now burn rate has to move over to off chain, where 90%, over 90% of the volume actually is. So this test model proves that now Binance can do it. Binance started doing it. Now any other exchange can do it. Well, now you have the loudest voices that are saying the burn rate didn't work. Look at the volume collapsed, right? Then you take away the burn rate, and what happens? The volume falls more and shows that it wasn't just on the burn rate to why people stopped buying on chain, right? They had no other reason to buy on chain besides staking. However, people that were buying off chain, that were buying on MEXC, that were buying on Kraken, that were buying on so many other platforms, now have all of that volume. So if you have a burn rate there, you can burn billions or hundreds of billions of Terra Luna Classic within a year. I said that and I broke down the model that this could be the case within days. 88 days, we could have seen the supply of Terra Luna Classic drop off with all of that volume that happened there. And I said we have a window of popularity to see this happen in a shorter period of time versus a longer period of time. And because we keep going with the loudest voices possible, that will go, this is not right because this is what CZ said. CZ was in favor of the burns and he still is burning, right? Binance is still burning to this day. That shows how much they believe in it. So to go, oh, CZ didn't believe in burns, but then he's consistently burning is absolutely ridiculous. All right, let me go and get these kids some breakfast, and we can talk about Terra Luna Classic a lot more. Because I'm always hyped to talk about it, and I love when I'm right about something. Um, but I just don't like to feed into the drama. I'm not a huge drama person, so when it does come, right, when the drama does come, I kind of just go, all right, you do whatever you're going to do. And when you're wrong, I'll be here to say that you were wrong. But what does that do for the community? It does nothing, right? I can only be so loud. I need others to also chime in. But then what was the icing on the cake is that some of the creators that believed in Terra Luna Classic also sided with those loudest voices. And that's where it's like I can't even have other YouTubers feel the same way or see the same thing because they're believing the loudest voices that the burn rate will never work. Because burn rates haven't historically worked. Why haven't they historically worked? Because you haven't had the popularity that a Terra Luna Classic had. And if you would have seen that burn rate across exchanges, I'm telling you, 88 days, maybe even less, we would have seen a lower supply. All right, give me a second. Let me pause this live stream again, and I'll be right back. Yeah, you know what? I wanted to keep that up. We'll look at just this market. Give me a second. Ah, the live stream stopped. Well, not this live stream, but the TikTok live stream stopped. What are you guys doing over there? Running around. Um, my TikTok live stopped, but I got 8 new followers and 455 viewers. I'll take that any day of the week. I just wish one had to stop it, but I'll go ahead and like restart that later. But let's see what people are saying. Um, Also gonna have a hatchery selling eggs, fertilized eggs, baby ducks, baby chickens, and so much more. And the land is gonna be working. That's amazing. And dividend and assets and real estate. It'll all come together. It's good that you got a plan. Plan is the first step, and being able to find a way to implement that plan is the next step, and then you have other steps after that. But you know, just taking that first step and that first leap is what means the world to your plan to actually having it come true. Um, because I've had plans for such a long time, but I never actually jumped or implemented those, right? Jumped on the opportunity. And I think once you do take that leap to actually do it, I mean, it it feels great. Uh, I got info on DXRP. It got pushed into the first quarter. Okay, so they must have had a little bit of a lengthy, and probably because the fourth quarter wasn't necessarily the best, so they wanted to launch it in more of a bull market rather than something that's bearish. If you launch it in a bearish market, um, it's more likely that you're going to have the retracement that does essentially happen or will happen. Um, that retracement will be stronger in a bear market versus a bull market. True, the Linux supply doesn't help, but even if the supply got back to something manageable, there's no volume on chain. No one in a wider crypto community knows Terra Classic is still alive. No, I don't necessarily agree. I think well, first of all, DJ Trev, I haven't talked to you or seen you in a while, so it's glad that you're here. I agree, but also disagree at the same time, which is perfectly fine. It's always great to have that. I feel like yes, the volume um, on chain is not where we want it to be. I think more of the volume all comes from the the hype of being able to gain something more out of something that's at such a low value. So that's why a lot of like what you're establishing when it comes to that supply then brings not only older developers back and builders back, but creating a newer market for those things. And depending on who's leading that, right? If it is a Doquan that has an influence, if it is somebody that does have a feeling or a presence to be an actual leader, then whatever their path is can continue to push that or can push that a lot further. So I think you're right in a way that there is no volume right now, but that volume will come with one altcoin season, two the hype that comes from being able to make so much more, which then brings FOMO into it, then brings long-term belief into it. Kind of all of the steps for investing, which I definitely agree that we could see um, that kind of fall under and be less valuable or see less volume on chain. We could see that, but I have a feeling that it's going to follow the same chain of what you see with an investment, right? The hype equals the hype that we see equals volume, which equals FOMO, which equals belief, then starts to equal long-term belief, and then the cycle continues just with a higher market cap. So I feel like that could be the case, but again, it's all speculation. Um, I just feel like we dropped the ball with not focusing on that supply when we did have a massive amount of volume. And I said that in the case I said we had a window of popularity that if we and I don't even know if you're still here, but we had a window of popularity that if we did see the 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 FOMO and we saw all the volume and we saw all the burns that were associated or not associated that were connected with that volume, we would then have a decreased supply, which would give people that belief a lot sooner. But now it's going to take a little bit more effort because people haven't seen Terra Luna Classic in the news, haven't seen people talk about it. You don't have many YouTubers that are coming out and going Terra Luna Classic this, Terra Luna Classic that, unless we do see any type of major movement. Once we see 20, 30%, all of a sudden everybody's making videos again, right? That's how that goes. Then creates more FOMO, which creates people buying into it. And then we start that cycle. But, you know, you never know. Where the hell is he? I'm tending to my children, man. My children have to go to school. All good. People glad. I have now 500,000 Jasmine. That's good. It's really good. The crypto market has been here. You need to learn to simply be patient. Nothing more needs to be said. You can end the stream now. All you and others want is YouTube revenue to get their bags. Um, so no, I want to continue to make content and talk about cryptocurrency because it sometimes opened my eyes to news that's happening in the world because I go and check my sources or check what I'm looking for, but it doesn't tell me everything that's happening or what people are investing into or what they see within a play because a lot of times I'm blind to what I see. So for me, it's not about getting the YouTube revenue. YouTube revenue is great and it also gives me a reason to do it because my time I value my time in a certain amount, right? So if I'm not physically making money during that time, I better be improving my life somehow. So I value my time in a large way. So if I am doing a live stream, yeah, I would expect to have some sort of YouTube revenue from it, some sort of revenue from it, some sort of revenue chain from it. But it's more about the knowledge that I can gain from others that are in the market, as well as the knowledge that I have that I can spread to others. That second opinion, that the more information that you get, the better, right? Um, I went for such a long time and mainly a year. I think there were times where I'll have YouTube revenue that's in the thousands, right? For the last year, every single month, my YouTube revenue was well below that. Like didn't even care, but I could survive probably if I didn't do anything, I could survive 20 years without even uh, touching YouTube or making any new revenue. I could literally go that long. But that's what I'm saying is that it would be great to always, or it's always great to value your time at a certain point or to a certain amount. And um, yeah, it's never about just, oh, I want to make revenue from this. I want to talk about cryptocurrency. I want to get the most people in the room so we can talk about cryptocurrency. And the more people that are here, it shows that I don't need to spend as much time, but if I want to live stream for a long period of time, talk to as many people as I want, I can. I could end the live stream now. I've done for the last however many months. I've been making one video a day. Sometimes I wouldn't even make a video in a week. But I feel like I'm in the dark when I do that. Okay, so how about you talk about Spark Crypto? I mean, we can talk about it as long as it's something that I'm not going to have an influence on. I don't want to have that influence. I don't want to be like exchanges. CRO to $1 or XRP to $10. What is more likely in 2026? CRO to $1 for sure. I think both are likely. XRP to get to $5, I think, is a sure thing. I think CRO to get to $1 is a sure thing. Um, but now you talk about further than that, right? To get to $5 and $10, $10 means that we have to see a true official altcoin season to get to $10 and $20 in those levels. But I think past $5, that's kind of the goal right now. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my opinion there. Let me see what this position is. You said Spark. Is it this one that's at a $50 million market cap? Oh, you know what? Give me a second because I have to go I have to get these kids on the bus, which it may be from 8 to 8:10 that this bus comes. But I have to get these kids prepared for the bus. So it's gonna be like a few minutes. Let me do this and then we'll go ahead and go into that. So Spark currently sits at a 2.2 cent price. It's down by 8.6% for the last month, 3% for the last week, and it's down 1% for the last 24 hours. It looks like if you were to look at this, just breaking down the different pieces here for market cap, volume, holders, supply, all of that, it looks like it has the popularity. I don't really know what it is, so I don't have the time to go through that, but I can go through that later. It's at a $50 million market cap with $19 million worth of volume, showing the level of popularity that it can have, showing about a 40% volume to market cap ratio. Um, Definitely for me, when I see a 40% volume market cap ratio, I'm thinking, is this a one off or do we typically see the millions of dollars that can flow and do flow into this? Now, the only issue that I would have is the fact that you're seeing all that volume, but it looks like it's inherently negative volume with how many days have been negative. If we look at the last year, it's down 67%. Now, I ask my questions, what's the reason why it's down 67%? Is it dilution, right? Which looks like that may be a factor, right? Because you had a higher price over here at 17 cents. However, it wasn't insanely higher. Mm, it wasn't like it's not like if I went to a $200 million market cap, a $200 million market cap would get me to an 8 cent price. So seeing it at a 17-cent price showed me that there was dilution into it. Now seeing that, you see there's 10 billion max supply, 2 billion circulating supply. There is definitely a decent amount of dilution left in there with only about 22% of the supply that's actually being used. Now, I don't know the dilution schedule on that, but you always have to factor that into it when you are going in, when you are investing into these plays. It is a high volume play because it's available on S tier exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. A big problem that I would have is just with that supply and how they're diluting it, right? Because it could be a Jasmine coin situation where it has less than a billion coins and then gets fully diluted until all the supply is out there. Good thing is that it has a max supply. If I was to make an investment, I would say it would be a very small amount at these levels, and then it would be a much higher amount if that supply had a dilution schedule to be sooner rather than later. So that's what I have to say. I'll be back. I have to go get these kids on the bus, and we can talk about more and more cryptocurrencies. But there's some pluses and some minuses. So give me a few minutes. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We are back. We got 27 people that are here, 66 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. It does help out the channel, helps out growth, and all that stuff that you want to have there. Um, Also, let me look and see what this is, and we'll edit this, and we will add this in. If you guys want to check out my link, my referral link for BTCC, feel free to do so. That link is in the chat. Um, it's also in the description if you need it. But yeah, I was talking about Spark, and they said that the high price, somebody just said the high price was at a really high level. So the all-time high was at 18 cents. Somebody said that Spark was at $297. Maybe that was before it was listed on CoinMarketCap, but CoinMarketCap's history shows that it was only at an all-time high of 18 cents versus the low of 1 cent or almost 2 cents. And right now, it's closer to the all-time low than it is to the all-time high. So that's good to see, but also there's the factor of like, is this going to actually be worth more than where it stands here today? And honestly, when I look at it, I would say it points to yes. Because even at a fully diluted value with a 2 cent level, it's still at a $225 million market cap, which I feel like is not necessarily like low, but it's also not ridiculously high, right? So for whatever it does, if it actually has a use case to it, which I would think it does, if Binance has it um, available to trade as well as Coinbase, it has some sort of reason to why you would hold it or believe in it. So definitely a play that could be, um, how do I want to put it? That could be like you're taking a chance on it, like a decent chance on it. Very speculative, very unknown exactly where it is going, but it does look like it has potential, especially with having two S tier exchanges on it. Right? I've always been a big fan of S tier exchanges. I have things like Farmcoin and Krillcoin in my possession because they have S tier exchanges where they are available. Right? Um, some say BlackRock is involved with Spark. Some might say it, and the speculation can push things a lot further. Um, Everyone makes money in different ways. If it's YouTube hustling in different ways, don't crap on someone's campfire. People sit there and eat on their live stream and get money for it. Yeah, I mean there are people that are sleeping. I think they're kind of um, trying to stop those that are happening, especially on TikTok where you have inactivity. um, but YouTube as well. The people that are doing the bare minimum and having a lot of viewers because of it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like live streaming, whether it's to 35 or 3,500, right? I like live streaming and having a conversation. As long as there's people here to talk and have a conversation with, I'm all for it. Oh man. Why did I do that? I didn't even know that shortcut existed. There's a different shortcut that I just found out. Let's see. I'm so hungry. Well, I've been live streaming for about 2 hours. Here we go. See if I can download this really quick. There we go. And update. All right, so on my work right now, I get here in at 2 in the morning. I'm really enjoying listening to you and others and learning so much. Thank you. Well, thank you, Silver Fox Rabbit, for saying that, the kind words. But I think it's it's mutual, right? I'm gaining a ton from so many people that come through here from the live streams that would tell me, hey, I haven't ever looked at Spark, but Spark looks like it could have some potential. It doesn't mean that I'll go out and buy it, but I will research it a little bit more, um, look at what they're doing, seeing if it fits what I have in my portfolio or my plan in the end, and I can go about my day. But I never looked at that position, and that's what these live streams do, right? It opens up your eyes to newer positions that could have more potential or some potential compared to the ones that you've already experienced growth with, right? Let's say XRP does go to a level of $5 this month, and I get to a point where I have my first exit plan and I take out a large chunk of money. Well, I now have the ability to take some of that money and throw it on a new position that I saw that will potentially give me some more returns. And what's better than other people that are bringing up, hey, this project looks really good, or what's your opinion on this? And then I actually do a slight bit of research and then I do more research later. It helps me in the end. A second opinion goes a long way with investing. I could tell you that I've made more when I have a community behind me that's willing to have a conversation on cryptocurrency or on investments rather than just doing it myself. Doing it myself, I start to second guess. I don't have any other opinions. I can't factor any other information in there because I looked at whatever I looked at. Like that's kind of where I stand on things. But it's the feeling is mutual, and I appreciate you being here and being able to chime in and everything. So means the world. But let's see, let's refresh this for the people that are kind of just getting in here, I guess, and anybody else that hasn't seen maybe the update that I went over with the market. The current crypto market is sitting at a $3.15 trillion market cap. Fear and greed is sitting at neutral, 42, 24 on the altcoin season scale, and then getting closer and closer to overbought territory for the RSI. I do like the coin market cap 20 index DTF that sits at a $6 million market cap. If that can be something that's heavily invested into directly from coin market cap and seeing the ability for that to grow to a 60 or 600 or $6 billion market cap, you're seeing a 10x, a 100x, a 1000x up to higher points that's tracking the top 20 cryptocurrencies in the market. So I do have nine sorry, I do have nine of these, um, and look to move forward with this, and I hope that it does experience larger and larger growth. but you never really know how people are going to react to it or decide to invest in and believe in that play. But Bitcoin sitting at 92, almost $93,000, up 1.7%, 6% for the last 7 days. Ethereum is up by 7% or almost 8% for the last 7 days. XRP is up by 14% for the last 7 days at a $2.12 mark. Yes, it's not at the all time high. Yes, it's not absolutely going to the moon right now. But in order to get there, you have to take those steps, to get back up to where we were, as well as surpass where we were. You're going to see, and I said it, you're going to see a retracement from that $3.84 price. Lo and behold, it was like right before it at $3.65 to $3.70. You're going to see that retracement, where people are like, this is basically the all-time high. I'm getting out of this play right now, and I'm making whatever profit that they can make, and that's fantastic. If you can time the market in that way and be able to get back in at $1.50 or lower, fantastic. But for me, my position is based off of profit taking at certain prices as well as long term holding majority of it for that long term. Um, but XRP looks good right now. It is currently the third largest cryptocurrency in the world at a $128 billion market cap. Now, I know you can factor in Tether if you want into there and say $186 billion market cap, but that's not really changing in value. It's worth $1 and it's going to be 99 cents to $1.01. You're not going to see it much further than that. Ethereum, second largest cryptocurrency in the world. I think XRP will surpass Ethereum, will surpass Bitcoin eventually because it has more use than both of those. BNB, $124 billion market cap. I know XRP and BNB were going back and forth for quite some time. Um, let's see, Tron is slightly down on the day, but up by 4% in the last 7 days. Dogecoin is up by 20% in the last 7 days. So it's closing in on that 15 cent mark, down by 3% in the last 24 hours. Cardano, slightly up by 0.6%, but then up by 10% in the last 7 days. So that's good movement. Chainlink, about 9 or 10%. um, Stellar up by 6%. I was going to say, I thought Stellar was down because I was looking at this. But Stellar is up by 6%, 16% for SUI at a $1.68 price. Speaking of that, my SUI should be at a decent profit then. So my SUI that I bought at $1.34 or something like that is up by about $700. I'll take that. I spent 2,000 some odd dollars on it. How much did I spend on it? I guess I could do the math. 2,500-ish dollars on 2,000 coins, and at an average of $1.36. I'm currently up $645.53. Today's return is actually down a little bit. But yeah, you could see that, right? Because it's 0.6% down in 24 hours, but 16% increase in the last 7 days. SUI is great. Litecoin is up by 5 or 6%. Avalanche is up by 12% over the last 7 days. I think I really wanted to have more Avalanche. I wanted to hold 1,000 of it, but I just don't have the capital to invest right now because most of my money, if not all of it, is set aside in either a traditional IRA, my kids' 529 accounts, my other retirement accounts, as well as my dividend account. So, yeah, it's kind of held up, and I don't like to take from there. So I'd rather take new revenue and throw that into any investments that we would have. But I would have loved to invested in that at what was it in the last month? I think it came down to like 11, if I'm not mistaken. The lowest point was 11.28, and it's currently at 14, $14.08. So closer to that high than it is to the low. But yeah, I mean the market looks good. Not maybe in the last hour, seeing a lot of red there, but it definitely looks good overall, and you're going to see those reactions when you have positivity. We have 48 people that are here. If you guys could hit the like button, if you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, please do that. It does help out the growth. It helps out the channel. Um, and if you want to check out my link for BTCC, feel free to do so. The giveaway is over that they were doing until December 31st. So two people already won 500 USTC or not USTC, USDT. Um, and it's in their accounts. And I hope you guys are able to utilize that and make a decent amount of money from it. More lies about what? Do you believe that we have to wait until the end of the year for the bull run to start? The end of this year for the bull run to start? No. Um, I think that the first quarter definitely has a high chance of being majorly like positive because of how bad the fourth quarter was of 2025. Um, However, I always look at the um, tax season as not necessarily the most bullish time in the market. But we have had years where January was very, very bullish, and the first quarter was very bullish. We saw some major movement even into the second quarter. And my thought process is that I always want to lean more into the beginning of the second quarter or even midpoint second quarter when taxes are fully paid. And then that's where things really explode for like a month or 2 or 3 months. But I would love to see the entire first and second quarter kind of push until we get to that third quarter, which could be the peak point and a downturn in the market. Um, Now I hope it's not that short because my time frame for uh the bull market for altcoin season was more mid to end of 2025 into mid 2026. But if it could push through 2026, it would be amazing. All I know is that things are definitely different because of ETFs, um, more adoption and belief in cryptocurrency, traditionalists in the market, looking at partnerships from cryptocurrencies, large cryptocurrency projects, as well as banks and institutions. Just so much interaction from the world we knew into the crypto world, which we don't fully understand. Um, so, yeah. I knew nothing about crypto or investing, and it's crazy because I was talking to Jesus or Jesus when I was at work about getting out of debt. Are you talking to Jesus? Okay. And when I got out of work, a random man came up to me and told me I needed to invest in XRP, and that's where my adventure started a year ago. Well, that's great. I always wish that I would have found cryptocurrency sooner. Like I would have had that. So I had the opportunity to find cryptocurrency. I've been connected or been in conversation with people that have invested in crypto and Bitcoin from where Bitcoin was at $2,000. And my thought process at that time was that I'm a college student. I can't even afford 2,000. I have $2,000 in my bank account, but that's mainly for the semester to buy waters and ramen noodles and all that other stuff. Um, so I wasn't ever thinking like I should put money into Bitcoin. And even if I did, when it grew to $10,000, I probably would have taken that profit. I didn't have the same mindset that I do now. But I really do wish that I would have been able to find and believe in crypto before the major blow up that we saw. Um, what was it in like 2020? I think we saw crypto really start to push. So 2019, I would have been very happy to get into cryptocurrency at whatever price it was at. Um, it could have been Ethereum, it could have been Bitcoin, it could have been anything because they were, sitting at $400 and $100, and now Ethereum's at $3,000. And if you invested a certain amount, you would have been able to make a certain amount of money. But even though you feel like you are late, if you feel like you should have invested earlier and you could have made so much money by this time, you can also now do the same thing for investing here and then being able to make a certain amount of money by the next, 5 or 10 years. So, um, but it's amazing that you took that leap, right? Not only heard what they said, but you heard what they said and you took action on buying XRP, on researching cryptocurrency, on now understanding more than the standard person. There's a lot of people that do not know about crypto and are still stuck on the fact that Bitcoin is a huge energy consumption, or a huge energy consumer. Um, and now you have things like XRP and you have validators that are validating the chain rather than, mining cryptocurrency, or mining Bitcoin, or mining Ethereum, or mining whatever, right? You have a different proof. You have proof of stake, you have proof of work. You have people that don't understand that. And it could be the bare minimum to starting to believe in the future of cryptocurrency. But at least you didn't start with like, hey, invest into this meme coin. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But somebody telling you to invest into an actual utility project is night and day from somebody telling you, hey, invest in the Shiba Inu, because then you make money from Shiba Inu and now you're looking for the next gamble. If you invest into XRP or Ethereum or Bitcoin or Solana or anything, you're investing into the next utility project. You're believing in it just like you would in the stock market, looking for that consistent growth. So I think there's a lot to be said for that person. Because they directed you in the right direction. I always tell people, when somebody reaches out to me like, "Oh, I got Dogecoin. Do you like Dogecoin, or do you like this? Do you like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." For short-term gains, the idea for a meme coin is to just make money, right? It's not to utilize it. It's not to have it being a major part of the economy. Um, but for the most part, 99% of meme coins are about what can this grow to? How much can I make? Um, Utility projects are a different story. It's about growth. Yes, you want to make a certain amount, but it's more about what can this be in the end? If I hold 1,000 until 2030 or 2040, what does that turn into? Right? Um, Value wise, and what can I do with it? Uh, God put me on this path, and I'm staying focused and learning as much as I can from kind of people like you. Well, I appreciate that. When do you think staking and yield uh, would be easier to do, King? When do I think that staking and yield will be easier for like XRP? Um, so right now, I think the only like there's certain staking venues or certain staking places that you can have for XRP, which I believe Flare is one of them. Um, but I don't know of many other ones. I have not been into staking XRP or even been searching to stake XRP, which would be great for my 10,000 XRP that I have sitting aside for the long term. If I'm planning on holding it forever, you might as well stake that if you can. But there's been no option on the Ledger chain to stake my XRP, so I don't know exactly when that will be the case. Um, so I don't want to speculate on when that will be, but maybe I could do some research and see if, how many options there are now and when they believe there will be easier options, because I haven't ever done research on that. Someone was telling me the other day, imagine if a token was created that had liquidity pools from the top 10 tokens, but the daily buy slash sell limits and wallet limits to prevent scams. Are my messages being deleted? No. I think there's only been one message from you, DJ Trev. Did you retract the message? I see that the message has been retracted. I think that was the one that. No, no, there was one more. So that was true. Linux supply doesn't. Yeah, that's the one that I read and responded to. Um, I was trying to ask if you knew about Juris protocol. That sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar? That's not like a. I'm trying to think of because there was a different. It sounds familiar to something that I did invest into that didn't really go well. Um, I maybe not. I might just be thinking. So this is a bank, not a bank, but infused with digital wisdom. Lending, new wealth opportunities on your terms, the way it should be. Juris Protocol is reliable for personal use and passive income generation. Businesses are empowered with advanced asset management capabilities, tools that are refine your financial freedom. You have lending, earn passive income on stablecoins and crypto, strong security and audited smart contracts, one-click reward claim, borrowing coming soon, liquidation market, juris staking. So yeah, this is not what I was talking about, but it seems interesting. I just haven't. I need to have a little bit more time to actually research. So your bank gives you a 2 to 3% APR. I don't even know if it gives you that. um, I mean, mine might, but National Bank probably not. Juris would be 14% APR on your investment, and your asset can be anything. It can be USDT, it could be USDC, so it can be an actual stable coin, or it can be Juris. Um, it seems interesting. Where does the it stand for Juris? Juris. I struggle with that protocol. So is this a live coin? So I don't see it. Mm, but I don't really understand what that would accomplish. Of creating a coin, you said that liquidity pools from the top 10 tokens, but daily buy limits and wallet amount limits to prevent scams. Um, so when I read that, I immediately think like have holdings of the top 10 crypto coins or cryptocurrencies, but I'm not understanding what you mean. Like what basically like what's happening here with coin market cap where they are factoring in the top 20 indexes and kind of have pools of money that's invested into it, or because I don't think this is necessarily investing directly into this. Coin market cap is the index provider for CMC 20. The index token is powered by reserve. So what I would think they would do is take the cryptocurrency that you have here and somehow invest in the top 20 cryptocurrencies. But I don't know how that would be possible as you're investing into a coin. For like say a fund of like an ETF. An ETF, you would have a certain amount that people are investing. So say a bunch of people invest $1 million, you would now have that split to where that money is now invested with, let's say, Coinbase, but you're investing in 20% Bitcoin, 20% XRP, 20% Ethereum, right? You have that split of whatever that ETF is. I don't know how they would be doing this rather than just measuring the performance. Like, I feel like it's not necessarily investing directly into there. And that's where I would want that clarity with coin market cap to understand that. Um, but I don't know. The coin market cap index, it's a liquid index token powered by Reserve that tracks coin market cap 20 index. The coin the CoinMarketCap 20 index is a benchmark designed to measure the performance of the top 20 cryptocurrency projects by market capitalization as ranked by CoinMarketCap. It excludes stable coins, coins that are pegged by other coins, okay, and assets limited investability. The index represents a broader cryptocurrency market while providing insight into the performance and a diverse set of digital assets. So it's not saying that like it's directly invested with them, right? But more or less tracking it. And I don't know, I would like to see kind of the framework behind it because it doesn't fully line up. I do own 9 of it, um, and understand the concept in a way. But when you start to get to um, the reality of it, how is that picture? Um, it's a revamp of Anchor Protocol. Ah, hmm. I thought it. Well, I mean, I thought the name Juris sound familiar, so that's what I was going with. It wasn't really about like what it does necessarily. Um, More about like if I'm getting the same visuals that I would expect as I saw that name. I think it seemed familiar, but it does seem interesting. I do they have a an actual coin? Because it seems like when you go on the website that you can a kind of stake in a way. So juris staking, if you were to select lending asset and choose your investment amount, which or watch the potential unfold. So if you decided to invest $10,000 in Juris, you would get 14% APR. If you decided to do it with USDT, you would get 14% APR. Bridge the gap between blockchain and enabling secure and instant transfers outside of Cosmos ecosystem. So it's basically like you put your $10,000 there, and within a year, you can turn that into 11,400. So seeing that APR, seeing the compound that can happen with it, um, with Juris, it's also a risk because it's not like if the bank closes down, right? You have FDIC insurance versus lending $10,000 and potentially in a year getting that 1,400. The risk to reward might be insanely high on Juris because it doesn't have that backing that secures your initial investment or secures kind of what you put in there, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I would have to research it more rather than just make comments and have questions that may be negative or even positive. So I would need to do a little bit more, but it seems like it could be very interesting and legit. This is the most I've ever saved. I've always, I was always a consumer. I know nothing about investing. I'm very proud and excited and grateful. You should be, right? Because taking that step to investing, you start looking at money in a completely different way, right? There, the way that I looked at money when I first got my job at like Chef Allen's before Chef Allen's is gone now. But when I was a dishwasher there and I would make a little bit of money, I was primarily just a consumer. I'm still a consumer now, but I was primarily just a consumer and spending all of the money that I had on any type of bills first, but then spending all the extra money and just kind of draining my bank account in a way. And ever since I looked at investing, I would look at it completely different to where I'm like, how much money do do I have saved? Right? How much money do I have to work for me? Right? Because the compounding becomes ridiculous when you reach $100,000. um, but a lot of people will tell you that it's difficult to get to $100,000. It's not. It's not difficult to get to $100,000. Um, even with somebody that's making $40,000 a year, if you are, I know that may be, maybe difficult as if you have roommates or if you have a different way to save money. Whatever you can save, $100 goes a long way. If you have a mortgage from hopefully back when mortgage rates were low, um, and you pay off some of that interest rather than, or pay off some of the principal rather than just paying interest every time, right? Because in the first 15 years of a mortgage, you're paying majority interest, and then the net last 15, you're paying majority principal. Um, if you can cut down the amount that you're paying in interest by $20 every month, $100 every month, it goes a long way in taking away that interest that you have. So again, you start thinking about so many things um, related to money, and you just start seeing your accounts grow, and you look at it in a way to where it's like, I don't need to spend money on that, but what I could do is take that money and put it in the markets. Changes your mindset. I know I'm a little old. I'm 40. I became a mother at 18, so I was young. All I did was work and pay bills and never saved. Now I have a different mindset. That's great to hear. And you're not old. I'm about to be 35, and I'm glad that I was able to find, you know, kind of the way that I view money now, which happened when I was about 28. Right? And that's where I was out of college. I was going for um my master's degree, and uh I tried to take a better route of being able to get my degrees, right? I had free college from tech school because my parents didn't have any money, and we got a lot of funding and all that. I had free school for the first 2 years, which got me my associate's degree. Then I went in for my bachelor's degrees, which I did pay for, a total of $24,000 for two bachelor's degrees. Which then I went into my master's degree, which was the most expensive, but a decent amount was covered by the place that I was working for, Penn State Health, um, and left with about $60,000 in student loans, which may have been a little bit more than what I wanted. It's like 50 was like kind of my threshold, my limit, but I feel like I gained a lot from those things. But then at 28, I was able to understand money a little bit better, right? Where I started worrying about 401k, what was going into that 401k, my Roth IRA that I had outside, my 529 accounts I had for the kids. I started worrying about my um, long-term, short-term accounts, stock trading, and then obviously getting into about 2021, 2020 to 2021, I started diving into cryptocurrency, which really boosted, you know, my gains because crypto was a speculative market and still is a speculative market. Consumer now a business owner mindset, building and turning $1 into two. I'm building financial wealth. That's great. Lending, borrowing protocol based on Anchor, but more safe and robust. Okay. Have you invested with it, or what's your plans with um, Juris protocol? Yeah, that makes sense. I've never heard of anything like that before, and didn't realize CoinMarketCap had something similar. If it functions like an ETF fund, I could maybe see some utility. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, but I just don't know how they're distributing that because right now it seems like it's the thought process of an ETF, but it's more of a tracking of the top 20 cryptocurrencies. And it does have a very low supply of 33,000, 34,000, The only problem is that you do have an unlimited max supply. So that's something that really, if it didn't have that unlimited max supply, I probably would have thrown a lot more in there and taken a lot more of a risk. But I took a moderate risk into this, which I feel like it's not going to really be a major risk at all. Why does it say it's 118th by market cap? That's not true. It's not true at all. It's sitting at a $6 million market cap. There's no way it's 118th by market cap. 118th by market cap would have to be in the maybe the hundreds of millions, maybe even billions. No, hundreds of millions. Definitely high hundreds of millions. It would have to be on like the sixth page. But they can put it on the first page the entire time if they want to. That's what's good about that. Juris is the governance token. It's on Terra Classic. Oh, I haven't. I haven't heard of it. See, that's the thing. I've been removed kind of from the conversation and many things that are happening with Terra Classic because of a lot of the fighting, the debates, the loud voices that are very wrong, and you know, not necessarily taking everything into consideration. Right? I feel like I've been removed to understand what actually has an impact and what doesn't. And yeah, the fighting does always suck. It really did make me want to just go, all right, I'm done. Like every time. I'm not a person that likes, uh, you know, what words am I looking for? Drama. I'm not a person that likes drama, but always seems to find me. And then I'm just like, all right, well, what can we do to resolve this? And there's nothing. What we say goes. What we say is the right way to go. And I'm like, it's been proven that it's not. So let's just understand that we can go a different route, explore something else, um, and maybe we're right here. And but that's never the case. So it does always suck, and it made me feel like I didn't want to say anything about Terra Luna Classic because you would have the same voices that would come through and go, uh, that's not it. You're wrong. You suck. Leave or whatever. I left for a year because of it. LLL 69 lured me back with Juris Protocol. Okay, I don't know who that is. LLL 69. Is that that's not a validator, is it? Or is it a person on YouTube? Yes, you do. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I do suck. I'm horrible. He was on the Terror Rebels. Okay. Yeah, I would like to get, more into it. And then what's crazy is like I would get into my spurts to where I would just be like, all right, I don't care what they say. I'm just going to be active and I'm just going to talk about Terra Luna Classic. And it is exhausting trying to. Are some of these people still there? Like, trying to think of the loudest voices because I tried to tune them out and just forget about them. Um, but are some of these people still here to kind of argue, hey, it's all about this or whatever, I can't remember what they were all about. They weren't about Burns, and I'm a big fan of Burns, and I know they haven't historically worked on many things, and I think the reason why is because you don't have the volume, and I feel like Terra Luna Classic did have the volume. It doesn't now, um, but anything could have a major impact because the price is so low. It could have a effect right now, but yeah, it was just bad. What's my water? I have like 3 bottles of water here. What is it? That doesn't taste like a fresh bottle of water. It tastes like an old bottle of water. But it's still water nonetheless. If I was on um Walking Dead, would love that bottle of water. Most left, many remain. Um, what? I don't know how most can leave and many remain. Like many people in general remain, or most negative voices, loud voices left, and many good voices, many people remain. Even Vegas has said Terra Classic can't burn its way out of its way out, and he created the burn tax. A lot has changed. See, I think it could have. I don't think it's going to be difficult now, but still, I think, like I said, with a lower price point and where we are, it takes less dollars to actually burn a lot of Terra Luna Classic. You saw the activity that we saw for the last month, and Binance burned 5.6, 5.5 or something like that, 5.2, 5 billion coins with the with not as much volume. And there was a time where we were seeing billions, uh, like a billion a day, and trillions of coins that were going through. At this point, at that level, we would see that. And that's just Binance burning 50% of their fees that they're getting. So we could definitely see an impact still to kind of get us back to square one. But I think, like I've said plenty of times, I feel as though you needed to see the support, you needed to see the willingness to give up something to get something in return, right? Most people just wanted to be greedy on the amount of uh Terra Luna Classic that they had. So if you had a million Terra Luna Classic or a billion Terra Luna Classic, many people would just go, I want to hold on to that billion, right? I don't care what happens. I want to hold on to that billion. But if you're willing to sacrifice any part of that, not saying that you have to burn, if you're willing to sacrifice any part, saying that what I decide to get out in profit, I'm willing to accept 2% of that to be just given away or burned away. Perfectly fine with that, right? And any profit that you get in any um, buys that anyone has, they could do the same thing, right? If we look at the amount of volume that would happen off chain, if you had that same burn rate off chain, it would be massive. And you can get us to a level where now everything can be replaced and you don't have to have that burn rate forever, right? But then if all else goes bad, the burn rate becomes an effective way to then get and recover the chain, just like we would with a reserve. So I think there's so many angles on it, but my math.
At Silver Fox Rabbit 1393
Thank you for
donated
the super chat.
$5 through Super Chat. I appreciate you taking time out and building community. God bless you and your family.
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I try to do my best, and I appreciate your appreciation. It goes a long way. um, but like I was saying, I think I think with Terra Luna Classic, like I've done the math on what it could have been. Uh, we could, if we would have had at that time, not even at the highest level of volume, at a mid level of volume, we could have had the entire supply burned down to where we wanted in 88 days, right? I had the math done. It's just we needed exchanges to be on board. We needed to show our support for it. And then, honestly, which nobody agrees with, a reverse split would be necessary. It shows that we can all sacrifice something in order to get us back to where we want to be. So if you decrease the supply to 1 trillion and do that reverse split 100 to 1, which would then take somebody that has a million and it would turn it, or 10 million, and turn it into 100,000, right? Because it would take away two zeros, and then you would be at a $10 billion market cap, being able to get Terra Luna Classic up to $10 potentially, and doing the same thing with USTC, repegging that, and now starting the algorithm process all over. However, um, I think it would be a lot different now because the volume is so low. I haven't ever done the math, or I haven't done the math on where we are now, but I do think that with a lower price comes more ability to burn if that's the case. But you know, I don't want to I don't want to make it a big argument if it's not with
At
anybody.
A.Alice75 donated $5 through Super Chat.
Well, thank you for that $5 super chat. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Um, but yeah, that's the way that I feel about XRP. It may not be completely right. Testing the markets or testing a position is always the way to go. I feel like we never had that test. Happy Caddy Crypto recently testified in um, Do Kwon's trial. He seemed to have discovered Binance does not own all that Lunic and USTC. Watch his video sometime. I'll have to. I haven't, like I said, I need to catch up on everything that's happening and things that are going on because um, would love to continue to talk about Terra Luna Classic. I own 103 million of it now. I don't only own 50 million. I bought more, which takes away from the profit that I had, but I do believe in it and I wanted to own over 100 million just in case even we do see that reverse split and it's two zeros that are taken away. I still own a million uh, Terra Luna Classic um, in the end. XRP is not going anywhere. I don't agree with you. I agree XRP, or I believe XRP is going so much further than you think. Can you talk about SQT and the graph? So are we looking at uh, AI? This is what's SQT? Is that subquery network? Is that this position? A $1 million market cap. I feel like with a $1 million market cap, I typically have a an effect on something. So I'm not really going to talk much about it, if at all. But I will say it's down 93%. I don't know the reason why. I would assume it's because maybe dilution into the supply, but I'll leave that one where it is. The graph I can talk about, which is GRT, which is sitting at a $425 million market cap. That has $26 million worth of volume. I feel as though uh, AI is still there, it's still at the forefront. It's just the reason why you're seeing it down 82% or 83% in the last year is mainly because of the altcoin status, right? Altcoins haven't been performing well and money has been flowing, it's seemingly into the top coins that are there because of ETFs, traditionalist institutional investments into it. But I expect a lot more out of GRT to grow to much higher levels. I don't know if it has been adding supply over time. It doesn't look like it. As we see, we haven't seen much movement from the market cap to the price. So getting to some of these high levels um, won't be ridiculous or won't be I can't think of words today. Won't be difficult to get to some of these prices. Even the beginning of the year or beginning of the last 365 days, 24 cents, and currently sitting at about the 4 cent level. I think AI is still um, massive, and still having S tier exchanges, having all the places where you can purchase it. I don't own any of the graph. I don't think. Maybe I do. Let me check Coinbase. I don't think I do own Coinbase. I might own it somewhere else. Hmm, I don't. Oh, I might own it on Kraken. I believe I was Any gains that I had that were massive gains, and I would take some of that profit, I would put it then on GRT, but it's not a lot that I own. Um, I probably should own maybe a little bit more. I feel like it has some decent potential. SQQT has a total supply, a low total supply. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, no problem. Algorithm says as AI, a wait, algorithm the same as AI Gore's rhythm? No, gotta go. Good seeing you. Stay black, bro. I'll try. I don't know. Sometimes it's difficult. No, I'll see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Um, who do you think wins the Royal Rumble this year? I don't watch a lot of wrestling. I mean, I probably watched um a little bit of didn't the Royal Rumble already happen? Wasn't John Cena's like last match at the Royal Rumble or something? Or you're going to like the next year's Royal Rumble? Al Gore was the former vice president. I know, but I'm saying, are you trying to do a play on words by going Al Gore rhythm? Al Gore's rhythm, because the S is in the wrong spot. Or algorithms, Al Gore rhythms. Bad pun. I mean, it made me I wouldn't say giggle because giggle is not a guy. It made me chuckle. Chuckle is a guy, slight laugh. Anytime my wife would say, "Well, it made you giggle," I'm like, nothing makes me giggle. It makes me chuckle. I don't I don't giggle, or I just full out laugh, or I can't breathe. I like the when I see something so funny that I physically cannot breathe and I start tearing up. Like those are the days where I know it's going to be a great day. If it happens at the end of the day, it just made my day the best day in the world. Because I love laughing. I really do. Um, yeah. But and nothing makes me laugh more than my kids saying things. It's crazy things that they say. I tell the guys stop giggling all the time on 2K. Yeah, you chuckle. You don't giggle. Stop giggling. I think I got to get out of here. I need some breakfast. But it's been a good live stream. We've had, 3.5 hours of a live stream. Yesterday, I I was just tired because I had um 4 hours basketball practice. I was only supposed to do an hour and a half. We ended up having 4 hours of basketball practice. Um, which wasn't bad, right? Because I'm coaching third and fourth grade, and we have two different teams. I'm coaching one team, and another coach is coaching another team, and she couldn't make it to her practice, but luckily my daughter plays for both teams, so since she was playing for both teams, I was just gonna drop her off, but then I got word that she was not coming in and that it would be great if I could stay. I was like, all right, well, I'll just implement my practice plan with them. I was hoping to go to the store to get some like floor cleaner and all that stuff so I can like wet mop and dry mop the basketball floor for the games that we have this week. But yeah, I was absolutely tired. Came back home, fell asleep, I took a nap, which when you take a nap as a 35-year-old, you ain't waking up for a few hours. It could be nighttime when you wake up. It could be like 9 o'clock and you're like, where did they go? I bought XRP at $3.50 last year. Uh, or you bought 350 XRP last year at $3. So what do you think? How much profit I get when XRP hits $500? So banking on a position to hit $500 rather than seeing different levels before that. That's not ever what you want, because $500 might be, uh, 5 years, 10 years from now, it might be a decade, from when we see that actually happen, or it could be sooner. You never know. that's what that's what makes it interesting for me. But what I decided to do, if you bought at $3, seeing it at $1.50 should be your eye-popping moment to buy just as much as you bought the last time. It's going to cost you a lot less, half of what you bought before, and or like half of the value of what you bought before, and you'll be able to decrease your cost basis by splitting the difference. But averaging down would have been the best bet so that you can now take profit on the other $350 worth of XRP. So $350 worth of XRP, if you bought it the same dollar amount worth at a lower price point, it would have been great, because then now you can take profit on that money that you bought at $1.50 at $5, and then you have all of your profit plus, um, extra to sit there for the long term, right? So you can profit at $5, you can profit at $10, you can profit at 20 or $100, but then now that journey to $500 makes it a little bit easier, makes it better because you took some profit already. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the way that I look at it. Have a great day, bro. Yeah, you have a great day as well. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. I don't know why I clap like that. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out some of the links that are down below. It does help out the channel. If you guys want to check out my link in for BTCC, that's in the chat. If you specifically use my link, you will get a 10% deposit bonus. Extra bonuses up to $10,055. Also, you can trade up to a 500x leverage, get up to 40% lower trading fees. It's a really, really good platform that I'm currently profitable on 3 or 4 different positions that I own. And I think it's been a good platform for me, and I think it'll be a good platform for you. Also, if you want a demo trade, they have a demo side of it to where you can practice trading without using your own money. But check it out. Link is in the chat, in the description as well. I'm gonna get out of here, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya.